so happy. I'm just taking a look around at these bright faces from all across America. Steve got to ask about his hometown. Is there anyone here from Ohio? So I spent the first 11 years of my life in Dayton, and then I moved to Pennsylvania. Okay, and now I live in Virginia. Okay, all right. I'm really curious where the rest of y'all are from, but I guess it's a big world. I really appreciate that you're all here this morning. I really appreciate that you're taking time away from your families, away from your communities, away from your businesses to be here. And we have worked really hard to put together an agenda that we hope will make it worthy of that time. We are really excited to be celebrating the vital role that you all play in our communities across the country, but also for our country, bringing together some of the best and brightest minds, the best and brightest small business owners with leaders from some of America's most successful companies. We want to give you moments that you can network with your peers, discover new growth strategies, and learn from fellow entrepreneurs. I want to take a minute because there is no entrepreneur who's not also in sales. I want to take a minute to thank our presenting sponsors, Inova and its small business lending platform On Deck, for making this summit possible. And I want to thank all of our sponsors, Dell Technologies, FedEx, Experian Employer Services, Iron Mountain, Oracle NetSuite, Square, T-Mobile for Business, and Walmart Business for their generous support. And again, a big thank you to all of you for taking time and traveling to be with us today. So representing hundreds of thousands of small businesses is one of the most impactful things that we can do here at the U.S. Chamber. It's also something that I am deeply passionate about because I have done this myself. I founded and ran a small business, which means that I understand both the thrill and the fears and challenges of being a founder. Taking that risk yourself, putting your name, your brand, your personal capital on the line, I know what it's like to take that leap. The pressures of making payroll, the responsibility of signing the front of a paycheck, but also the joy of telling someone, you got the job. I believe that one of my proudest accomplishments was creating about 25 well-paying jobs with good benefits. I'm really proud of that. And boy, is that a responsibility, and really thinking about what you owe those people and what you need to do for those people. Because small business owners understand at a really granular level what a job means to a family, what it means to a community, a steady paycheck, financial security, support for the family, dignity, self-determination, accomplishment, hope, and knowing that you're making a difference, changing lives, and lifting your community is what sustains you through the challenges. It makes the long days worth every minute and the sweat equity worth every drop. That desire to create jobs and opportunity is what made me love being a small business owner and what led me back to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in the role I now have. Because during my time as an entrepreneur and a CEO, I learned firsthand how some of the biggest challenges business face come from a place few have much experience with, Washington, D.C. When you run a small business, you don't just play one role, right? You're the head of IT, the head of HR, the head of sales, the chief human resources officer, the head of IT. And with everything Washington is throwing at you, you probably feel like you need to be a lobbyist or a lawyer or a policy expert. And who has time for that? I know you don't, but we do. And we are here to help. From workforce shortages and regulatory overreach, inflationary pressures, rising interest rates, access to capital, rising retail crime, and the threat of out-of-control tax and spend policies in Washington, the Chamber is here to help. We believe that a business of any size should have a fighting chance to prove their value in the market. And we advocate tirelessly for a policy environment that allows you to create jobs, solve problems, and create more growth and opportunity at home. I'll share just a couple of examples. One, we have a small business council. It's 100 small business owners. They're from across the country. They serve as ambassadors, spokespeople, storytellers for all of you. They go to Capitol Hill, they meet with lawmakers, and they give us advice about what we're getting wrong, on what's hard and what's easy and what needs to be easier about running a small business in this country. They steer our work as we fight for policies. We also work shoulder to shoulder with a federation of state and local chambers of commerce across the country. That's how we were founded. When you come in the front door, there's a big plaque on the wall, and it's all of the state and local chambers across the country that first put their hardworking dollars to work to build this building to be a national home for business. We partner with MetLife to survey small businesses every quarter, and that informs our advocacy. It helps our thought leadership to drive public opinion so that we can tell policymakers how to better help you, your business, and helps us keep our finger on the pulse of the issues that matter most to you. We're fighting efforts in Washington to raise taxes on business, especially when they target small businesses or try to increase corporate tax rates. When it comes to trade, more than 97% of the 270,000 American companies that export are small and medium-sized businesses, and they generate about a third of U.S. merchandise exports. That's why we keep pushing for a bolder trade agenda. We believe there could be big benefits for working families and our small business job creators. We're holding regulatory agencies accountable when they go beyond congressional and constitutional authority, even if it means taking them to court. We're demanding meaningful reforms to America's outdated permitting process because it's unacceptable that a federal permit can take up to 7.5 years to be approved. In local communities all across the country, we hear from businesses and chambers about the time-consuming delays that are holding up projects, large and small, and squandering opportunities for growth and American leadership. We're leading a multifaceted effort on the worker shortage. It's probably the most acute challenge that we hear from people. People who can't find skilled workers, people who can't find tradesmen, people who can't find truck drivers, and the demands on all of you competing with each other for those talent pools and what it does to drive up wages and cost. We are working with a pretty strong coalition and trying to figure out what we could do to prepare today's workforce for jobs, but also to figure out immigration policies that meet the needs of the 21st century. At the Chamber, we're really proud because we represent the whole ecosystem of the economy. And we really spend a lot of time trying to educate policymakers that it is an ecosystem. We want people to understand that when they pit big against small, they miss a big part really, of the story. They don't understand that big companies and small companies are frequently each other's vendors, customers, suppliers, that it is a really nuanced and intricate and sometimes intimate relationship. And when small business employs so many people in the United States, big business understands that that's their customer base. So we called earlier this year for a prompt pay pledge. We asked companies to identify their small business suppliers and pay them faster. We want to make sure that you have access to capital faster, so that when big companies owe you money, they pay you more quickly. We're thrilled that Intuit, JP Morgan Chase, Citadel, Siemens, AGCO, Alpha Technologies, and another couple dozen companies have already signed on to this pledge. Now, some of you may be thinking, as I did when I was a small business owner, the advocacy work's important. I'm glad the Chamber's doing it, but I don't have time for that. I'm trying to get a startup off the ground. I'm trying to keep my business running. Or you may be thinking, I'm a small business now, but I want to be one of the big guys. The Chamber can help with that too. I think a lot of you are familiar with our digital platform, Co, and you've used it as a resource, but if you haven't, Co connects the Chamber with more than 6 million small businesses a year, with the goal of helping businesses run, start, and grow. We connect with entrepreneurs at every stage of their journey and meet them where they are with advice that's urgent, relevant, and inspiring. During the pandemic and ensuing startup boom, Co helped millions of businesses navigate surviving and thriving in this new era of small business ownership. CO helps businesses achieve their full potential and lifts up small business success stories from across the country. So today, we're going to have a chance to hear from the finalists of our America's Top Small Business Award. I know that Steve already talked about the record-breaking 15,000 applicants. But the truth is, you're all winners. The deep community engagement we see from small businesses every day, the stories we hear every day of success strategies, ability to overcome challenges, it's truly inspiring. So we know we're down to 7 finalists. Tonight, one of them will be named America's Top Small Business. And each of these finalists has represented the resilience and growth mindset of the American dream. They're putting their dreams to work, solving problems, strengthening society every day. And I want to ask those top 70 honorees, the 7 finalists, anybody in that group who's here today, to stand up and be recognized. I hope Steve heard that, because that was some real applause. Look, I just want to go off script for a minute. I have a really cool job. I'm really lucky. I get to travel around the world and connect business and government at scale. I get to try to do things to create more opportunity in the world, and that is a great blessing and a great gift. And when the world is really challenging and complex, when so many people are suffering, as we're seeing around the globe right now, you could say to yourself, should we really be celebrating? Should we really be gathering? But if we waited for human suffering to stop, we'd never get to take the minute to say, what you do every day is important. And maybe it's even more important when the world is suffering like this. Maybe it's even more important that you're strengthening communities and strengthening society. So we know that there are people around the globe, particularly in the Middle East, who are not able to work on their small businesses right now, who would love nothing more than to be a safe, beautiful ballroom, thinking big thoughts. And while our thoughts are with them, and we're doing a lot of work on humanitarian aid in the region, if any of you want those tips, we can help you with them. It's also okay for us to say, what you do is important. And in difficult times and complex times, coming together, forming new bonds, forming a new community together might be even more important. So I told you I have a really cool job. My really cool job includes this really cool party trick. It makes other people who work here not have a cool job because it's a little bit hard to pull off. But Hector, I'm wondering if you could show them the live shot from the roof. Oh. That's our roof. This is the building you're in. And this is this beautiful view upstairs. It's hard to see when you walk here because of all the trees. But it's really important to think about 112 years ago, people exactly like you from Minnesota and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Virginia and a whole bunch of states that we didn't name came together and said, you know what? Business is so important to national security. It's so important to economic security. It's so important to families that we're going to form a national chamber. We're going to buy land across the street from the White House, and we are going to build a building where they can network and grow and convene and do the important work of taking care of families and communities in our country. That inspires me. What you do inspires me. It takes courage to do what you do. It takes sacrifice. It takes grit and determination. It takes ideas and ingenuity if you want to change the world. We know for sure that you're the dreamers, you're the doers, you're the innovators. And the chamber exists for only one reason, and it has existed for 112 years, right across, well, not across the street from that. This is not, I don't even know what that was. That was like the Golden Gate Bridge and a farm and the Capitol building. Hector's like, just give her picture back. Okay. We have existed in this beautiful space for 112 years to do exactly one thing, and that is to keep you dreaming, keep you doing, and keep you innovating. You are always welcome here. You are welcome in this building. You are welcome on CO. We stand with you. We are proud to stand with you. You can count on us to fight for you and to have your back. I truly hope that today and tonight are joyful moments in doing hard work and that they're worthy of your time. With that, thank you for all that you do.